Good afternoon. Keith Tebow from FRC Media. We are Wednesday afternoon, a little bit later than normal, but we're still checking in as we do each week with the mayor of the city of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan. Mayor, how are you today?
Good afternoon. That's the first time I got to say that, Keith. Not bad, huh?
I know. Well, good. I'm glad I'm the recipient of that good afternoon. I want to start with a number of city projects. You know, there's been a lot going on in Fall River for quite some time. I want to get some updates on a couple, but something that's actually happening tonight, as we speak, Wednesday night. There's going to be an event at the Our Lady of Light Banquet Hall on Quarry Street. And it's a project that we've touched upon before, the revitalization of the Flint neighborhood and Pleasant Street. There's been some money set aside to devise a plan for the project, and tonight residents will have their say. Talk about what they can expect.
Well, I think they're going to present the urban renewal plan that's been developed for Pleasant Street. They'll have input. They'll get to see the plan. They'll get that to weigh in on what they think is good or could be improved. Those are the things we're looking for tonight. We're hoping a lot of people show up. We have the company, trying to think of their name right now, that's doing the urban renewal plan will be there. They'll have the representatives. I, of course, will be there. And as I said, we need to bring some attention to that Pleasant Street strip all the way up, like from Happy Garden to Eastern Avenue. We have a number of vacant buildings. We have been focused on those properties and how to improve the whole area. And I think people are going to see some changes in the Flint within the next couple of years.
I know one of the things that may, in role as mayor, I'm sure sometimes, it's easy to get blinders on, to say, I have some ideas for this part of the city or that part of the city. But it's very important tonight to hear from the people who actually live there, right? Those in the neighborhood. So how important is it for people to chime in about some of the things that they may be seeing that may not necessarily be in this plan that will help make it better?
Well, again, those are the eyes and the ears of the Flint, and they walk it, they park it, they see their neighbors, they know what's going on. Again, people come in and they helicopter in, and they're going to be telling us what we should do in the Flint and not what they know about the Flint. But at the same time, the people that live there have the heaviest stake in that neighborhood, and we want to respect them. And if they tell us things, I mean, obviously that's one of the outcomes from the Kathy Assad tot lot. Those neighbors around the Quikasham Street area said, listen, our park needs upgrading too. So if you go by there any day now, I know they set the basketball hoops last week. They're now working on the splash pad and the playground, and that's going to bring a nice little amenity to that neighborhood. There was always a park, but it was a little beat up. So it's nice that when people make comments or offer input and it comes out with something positive. It's the exact same thing that happened with the Damaris playground at the end of Pleasant Street. A young lady named Olivia came to us when I first got sworn in and said, that park needs help. That park needs help. You go by there now. I was by there the other day. There was 6, 8 kids playing basketball, a couple of kids on the playground. Those are the things we want to see in Fall River. And we are going to keep pushing forward, and we are going to direct some resources into that Pleasant Street corridor.
I know another project we've touched upon many times. Of course, last year was the big announcement in terms of what's going to be happening at the city pier on the waterfront. I know the Herald News had a story earlier this week about updates there. Talk about, a lot going on. You physically now, you can literally see what's going up, light poles and railings and the like. And, talk about what's going to be happening there and when can we expect some activity down on the city pier?
Well, I think one of the things they're doing within the next couple of weeks is putting the topsoil down, which then will allow them to seed it for grass. Because if we can get a nice grass surface on that pier, that's going to be contingent on our plans going forward. We have a couple of concerts planned, I believe, for late summer, early fall already, past the growing season, so we can get some kind of footing in there. But if you drive by it right now, as you said, you see the turnaround, you see all the lights, the rails are up. We recently put in for a $250,000 grant so that we can get some floating docks on the side of it, very similar to what you see at the Cove, so people can pull up in a boat, tie up and walk up a ramp and get up on our pier. I think the potential for that's going to be limitless. There's about another huge piece further up the river a little bit that we're working with National Grid on. This week I had the pleasure of going with Congressman Auchincloss to the two train stops in Fall River, the one on North Main Street and the one behind, the Pleasant Avenue Plaza. And I was walking around on the deck up there, or the where the terminal's going to be, and it's absolutely gorgeous what they're doing up there for a train station. So it's coming, and it's going to bring a ton of development to that whole strip along the waterfront.
Getting back to the city pier, you announced that it will be named after former Senator Tom Norton. How did that come about?
That came about when we were looking at who did a lot of work on the waterfront. And when Senator Norton was in office, he worked on the battleship. He helped us with Heritage State Park. He helped us with Bicentennial Park. He obviously was a catalyst for change in his whole reason, and he was heavily invested with the veterans, the students, and the citizens in Fall River. And we thought it would be like a fitting tribute. I think his commitment to the waterfront was unwavering, and I think he deserves a little recognition too. I just think that Norton Park will be a good amenity for all the citizens.
Yeah. And another project that we've touched upon in the past is the Bank Street Armory. And I believe you mentioned last week that there is some movement there as well in terms of a developer that has shown a lot of interest there.
Yeah, there is. We had to develop what they call a license agreement. I did not know what that was till I got into this seat, where it authorizes the buyer to go in with his engineer, his carpenter, his plumber, and do a full evaluation of what they're going to do in there. And he got the license agreement signed up this week, so I'm assuming hopefully he's in there within the next short period of time and comes back to us with his plan going forward. But I think things are still moving. As I say every week, I don't move at that pace, but government sometimes kind of trudges along instead of running.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, will this, with him getting in there, will that preclude him from, stepping away from any deal? Because no deal has actually been formalized yet. Is that correct?
No, I don't believe that's so. He's every time we've spoken with him, he's heavily committed. I haven't heard any wavering, and it's his experience with armories. Like I said, as I've said from the get-go, he owns the Pawtucket Armory. He owns an armory in Woonsocket. I think he owns a beautiful hall in Worcester, and I think he's working on one in New Hampshire. So he kind of jumps around the state in New England looking for these armories, and he's heavily invested in them. So we have no reason to believe he wouldn't tackle ours.
Yeah. Finally, this week, as we head toward the middle of May, it's going to be budget season here in Fall River. I know your office and your administration has been working on the budget for quite some time. Any idea when you expect to send that to the city council for their overview?
We're not far off. We have a few little pages we have to adjust some numbers on. Other than that, we're in very good shape. We are going to submit a balanced budget on time, and I think you can look at that coming out within the next week, 10 days to the council. That will give them their opportunities to make adjustments and do the things they want to do, and look at what our spending options are going forward.
All right, we'll definitely be delving into those numbers, as will the city council, very soon. All right, Mayor Paul Coogan.
Stay away from that budget, Keith. Stay away from that budget.
The minutia of it is sometimes goes over my head, but
people are going to know
it is important.
It's a little thinner this year. We've trimmed it down to the numbers and a few things, so it'll be a little easier book to handle. But again, it's
there you go.
All the same info.
Yeah, we all appreciate that. All right, Mayor, as always, we'll talk next week. Take care.
All right, Keith. Thank you.
All right, bye. Thank you to Mayor Paul Coogan, and thank you for joining us again this week on FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week.